Hello, I'm Reverend Jody Betten, the Southwest Area Interim Minister for the Michigan Conference United Church of Christ, and I'm here with a Faith for Thought. I attended the Festival of Faith for the Michigan Conference, a joint meeting with the Disciples of Christ and the United Church of Christ in this area. The theme was 21st Century Landscape for Mission, Being Church. I was particularly struck by Sharon Watkins, the president of the Disciples of Christ denomination, who spoke as a keynoter as she described the landscape of the 21st century. 3 items that she noted that we need to be aware of as faith communities in this era. The first one is that our neighbors don't know the story of Jesus or the story of God's unconditional love. Now that's pretty profound when you think about it, because it is the basis of our faith. And so being unafraid to speak about Jesus and what Jesus did, being unafraid to share our experience of God's unconditional love is really important. Her suggestion was that perhaps we not be so inclined to speak it first, but to embody it. She said she reminded us, Jesus embodied God's love as he went to people, as opposed to waiting for people to come to him and then speaking. And she used the example of how we can learn from the young people in Ferguson as they quickly gathered around the scene of that tragedy and were calling to accountability the establishment, calling to accountability the powers that be, speaking truth to power. She reminded us that the church got there late. The second interesting point about the landscape these days is the unprecedented diversity. And she used the example that scientists use where systems overlap, there's the possibility of great fertility. So as we engage one another in our diversity, there's a possibility for creativity and new ideas, new ways of being. We need to learn new languages. We need to hang out with people who see the world in different ways and understand how they see the world. And perhaps together we can create new ways to embody God's unconditional love than ever before. We need to learn the language of texting and tweeting. And those of us who have privilege, the privilege of Christian imperialism, the privilege of being white in the dominant culture in this world, we need to learn to step back, to give it up, and to share it, she said. To allow others who may have a better feel for what is needed in this circumstance to be in leadership and to follow their lead. And then the third reality of this landscape is technology. She said technology reshapes our communication and our thinking. It's building opportunities worldwide. The example that she used was amazing. She said as those young people were drawn to that tragedy in Ferguson, that youth in Palestine were tweeting those or texting those young people how to make makeshift gas masks so that they could stay present and be witnesses to what was happening. I think that's just profound. So she gave us some homework. If we're going to be brave enough to enter into this landscape, which can sometimes feel like a wilderness, like we don't have a map, like we don't know where we're going, she said this is our homework to get ready. First of all, she asked, what will we take with us? So in the quest to embody wholeness and unity, what is essential for us to take with us as we go into the wilderness, as we seek to embody Jesus' presence, as we seek to speak clearly and relevantly of God's unconditional love? What will we take with us? She reminded us of the story of Moses taking along Joseph's bones into the new world. The second question, what do we leave behind? And I'm reminded of Phyllis Tickle's analogy of the church going through a huge rummage sale. Well, what must we leave behind? What antiquated church habits are there that are not new wineskins, but old wineskins that will burst if we put this new gospel message into reality? What do we need to leave behind as we go forward preaching good news? And the third question is, what are we inventing new? What new ways of communicating this gospel message, this good news of God's unconditional love? I like to think of the UCC as a roomy denomination, a place where many can gather with varying perspectives. What might we create together that's new and relevant and exciting, that attracts people to the story of Jesus and the message of God's unconditional love? Sharon reminded us of the 4 friends who brought their friend to Jesus, but the door was blocked. They had to figure out a way to get their friend before Jesus. And so they opened up a hole in the roof. That's an example of a new way of thinking, inventing a new possibility. I'm excited for the future of the United Church of Christ. I think that we are situated primely to be God's message of unconditional love and the story of Jesus' reconciling grace. This is our Faith for Thought today. Thank you.